Hey,
Uh,
we are kicking off UX Research Call number 22. It's the 22nd of June. Can we call you General Kenobi?
or Kenobi is fine.
We have Kenobi here, we have Christoph, we have Michael, and we're just going to jam together today and try and help them out on their user experience. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know if you want to give a bit of an introduction or.
Well, European Bitcoiners, part of European Bitcoiners, we're a pleb volunteer organization, let's say, initiative, association. We are not sure yet. I mean, right, we're just a thing that exists to like promote Bitcoin and especially promote it around Europe. That's the main purpose. I mean, it's kind of in the name, right? European Bitcoiners. The main idea is we found that inside of Europe, in contrast to other places like the US, which we believe to be similar in the sense of size and challenges, the US had a big and well connected social fabric of Bitcoiners, which help foster a lot of community initiatives like Satoshi Action Fund or the Bitcoin Policy Institute and other such great institutions that defend Bitcoin locally, but on a national level. Meanwhile, in Europe, the national level, yes, is being under attack, but it's at the international European Union level where we need to cooperate, and we were missing that cooperation, that social fabric wasn't there. The people from Poland weren't talking to the people in Spain or France or Italy or Czech Republic. Nobody was talking. Everyone was living in their own little communities, and nobody was aware of anything else. So we decided to come together, and we thought that the translations, the language barrier, is the thing we have to start breaking down. That's the lowest hanging fruit. We want to create a Schelling point around European Bitcoiners where we all come together to like share knowledge there. And then, as we can see already, Christoph going through it, you will see there's quite a few languages. We're trying to have as many texts there. And then I feel like this is a interesting challenge from a UX perspective and UI because of what we are trying to achieve. A lot of work has already been done between BTC Prague and now, um, thanks to especially the Dev Hack Day we had there. But yeah, I would like to not say much more about which developments we have. I already know how we want to improve it. We are trying to get started at Figma where we can start working before we get coding, uh, get into the coding side. But yeah, I'll let you guys go through the website. I don't know if you have opened it yet or if we are just gonna follow Christoph as he goes through it. I also find that perfectly fine. But yeah, I would rather hear your points of view. What you think, guys, think we should improve before I tell you what we figured out and how to do this.
So do you guys already have an idea in mind of what you would like to improve? You already have some user feedback?
Yes, not specifically on how on how the user experience is. Actually, they we got user feedback on the value of the product of European Bitcoiners existing.
Yeah.
We didn't get sadly too much feedback on how the user experience was as far as the because we have two customers we're trying to appeal to, or like two users that we're trying to like do a product market fit. That will be the authors, the plebs, volunteers that know two languages: Spanish, English, Czech English, Polish English, right? They just want to translate content and post it
Hmm.
somewhere. And then we also have the readers, the people that the plebs who translate it, will say, "Hey, grandma, come here. I'll send you this link. You can read here this article, and then you can explore other articles in your language, in Polish or in Italian, right?" So those are the two users, the author and the reader. From the reader, we have almost no information, to be honest,
Okay.
but from the authors, from what we heard, it's pretty cool. But what we're trying to improve here is the user experience of reading, the no coiner, because at the end of the day, we're trying to orange fill, right? Um, so we feel like the author experience is pretty good for them already.
And you guys have do you have you mentioned a Telegram group with a bunch where you guys
Yeah,
hang out. Okay.
we have slowly it's expanding. We have
Yeah.
one main chat of like 640 people now,
Mm-hmm.
all plebs from, well, potentially a few bots, of course, and shitcoiners, but mostly Bitcoin maxis from all over Europe. Switzerland, Spain, Portugal, Serbia, France, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland. We're trying to like reach out to as many of them as possible, and that's the main one. And then we also have a smaller one for the proof of work guys like myself to communicate and to do all the admin stuff without disturbing the conversation on the main one. And that's smaller. Only 15 people are in that one.
Well, you have two very experienced designers here on the call, so you have a UX researcher here. I'll chat a little bit about what I prepared, and then I'll hand it over to Christoph and to Michael and to Elena, to anyone else who wants to speak, because I'm sure that you're going to be able to get some really good feedback from them. I took some screenshots in Figma, and this is me kind of getting my brain around the whole project. I just took a screenshot of like a few pages, not really too much. I don't know if this is visible to everyone.
Come again, come again.
Is this visible to everyone? This
Yes, we can see the screen. Yes.
So I took some screenshots of the main homepage over here. So that was kind of my first step in, and I kind of just did some explorations, going to the different screens. Pretty much what we always do when we do the design review calls. So just looking at it, just at first glance, I like how you guys try to keep everything really simple. I like the use of color. It's very, how can you say, the contrasting colors work very well together. The one thing that kind of stood out, but I was wondering if it was maybe intentional, was that some of the articles were in different languages. So this one was in one language and that one was in another language. That felt a little bit confusing from a user experience, but I don't know how intentional that was. Maybe that's intentional for you guys to maybe just invite other people and really let them know that there's these different languages available.
The thing is, I'm happy you say that because that's what my feeling was.
Yeah.
It is to a certain degree intention. It's intentional, but at the same time unintentional in the sense that yes, we want to have as many people know that there's as many languages as possible. But also, what we found with time is that it's just overwhelming, and it's almost like it almost feels like you're not welcome. Like it's like, whoa, this is a place for other people that speak many languages. I only speak my language, right? So what we're trying, part of like the rework that we have in mind, which we haven't put yet on like design. We haven't designed it yet. We don't have images to show yet of how it should look like, but I can explain it. Would take away this component of many languages in just one screen.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Christoph and Michael?
Yeah, I played around actually already during BTC Prague and just now as well. And I mean, what I like is, I mean, kind of the visual style and colors. I think there's nothing really to. I mean, it looks very good. I think what could be improved though is actually orientation as into what I'm currently looking at. So when I go, or maybe I just share my screen as well.
Yes, please.
What I mean by that, if I browse the site and I selected a language like German, and I go into the details, I don't see any status as to which language I'm in. And here we go. I have to share screen. Where are we? Damn it. Chrome. Here we go. So I hope that's.
1 second. Let me see. We're seeing it on your screen, which is interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's behind
Right.
the scene, yeah.
Christoph, help! How do I make this? I think I have to resize the window. Here we go. And gonna
Make
Make
yourself
myself
transparent.
make myself
Oh.
disappear. Here,
What? You just became an ant.
here. All right. So,
That works.
all right, cool. So, for instance, when I'm on home, one thing is I don't know that I am on home because it's not highlighted, right? So I would expect basically that, and you do that in other categories here, right? It's clearly highlighted in which part of the website I'm at, but not on home. And here, yeah, I get there is kind of all different languages, and but still, I'm probably I speak only a subset of these languages. So what I was thinking about what would be really cool, because I speak, let's say, German, French, French, English, and Czech. So what would be nice, or what could be something that might make sense, is instead of having to choose one language, you could actually choose a couple of them, and you would see articles or resources that are in any of those 4 languages. That was just one thing that occurred to me while I was browsing.
That's a good one. I like that.
But that's probably a bit advanced, and you'll have to think about whether it actually makes sense. But it could be a good addition. But yeah, so let's say if I use Czech here, as soon as I basically leave, I go into any of these posts, I don't know, I don't see which language I'm looking at. I mean, I know that the article is in Czech, but I don't really have a hint on where I am in this navigational structure here. Also, if I go to
because it says
books,
directly home BTC Prague or whatever the article is. It doesn't say home Czech or home article name and then see, like it says Bitcoin in 10 minutes. It doesn't say the language too, right?
Yeah, and it also disappears, right? When I scroll, basically I have to search for it all the time. So I was thinking maybe what could be a solution to that would be to somehow somewhere in kind of the header part, you could say, okay, this is the languages that you're looking at, maybe a couple of flags or just the languages, and maybe just keep the categories or the kind of the navigation sticky while scrolling to kind of. But these are the, I think that needs more thought. But generally, I think the main thing that I noticed was that it's a bit hard to orient where I'm at, right? Because it's not persistent. I mean, it's here in this breadcrumb, but yeah, that's my initial thoughts. Sorry, it was a bit long.
No worries. Christoph, do you want to add anything? Any thoughts?
Yeah, you have a ton of stuff on there. I think I found it really interesting that you had this getting started here at the very front. So clearly, you have you feel like you need to explain yourself. So and this whole first page, I feel like I'm missing a tagline. Like, is this a news website? Is this like Bitcoin magazine or so?
So like a slogan.
Yeah, and so something about, I don't know, crowdsourced news, Bitcoin news by Europeans for Europeans, or I don't know, something where it tells me that this is kind of a community effort and we're trying to help each other by making this content more available.
Yeah.
Elena also had a question there.
Yes.
Why don't we just address that one?
If okay, so the primary goal is basically improve. I explained before that we have two basic customer. Well, it's not really customers, but two people. I call them custom users that we appeal to. One is the authors. You can find the author login at the top right. Those are the plebs, the Bitcoiners that know more than two languages or like more than one language, English plus their local language, and they wanna let a horse fly on the wall. No, useful fly on the wall. It's always good to have these questions, right? So one is the authors. Those are plebs that know at least two languages, English plus their local language, and they do translations, right? Because we are mainly focused on translations to break the language barrier that exists in Europe in order to like start creating more of a social fabric here in Europe. And then the other type of users, which is the one we're concentrating on, is the readers. That's why we are all just looking at the website as is. We don't have author login, and that's what we're dealing. Like that's the primary goal, to improve the user experience for the wider audience, because authors are more like specific people. And then, do you want to increase readership, recruit writers? I mean, a bit of both at the end of the day, right? We want to make it easier. We want to make it something that we want to try to create a Schelling point around European Bitcoiners, so that if you, let's say you're in Ibiza and party, right? And you are in a bar and you talk to some guy from Poland, and you yourself are, I don't know where you're from, Elena, no need to say, but let's say you're from Italy, and then you orange peel him a little bit, but he's just right there. And you're like, okay, when he gets back home in Poland, he needs to find some Bitcoiners. Do you know the Polish community? How do you send them the proper source? The idea is you just send them to European Bitcoiners. They will find the Polish section of the website, and this is still to be developed. But at the end of every article, we would like to have a call to action to join the local meetups, to join the local Polish community. This way, if you meet someone from France and you're in Hungary, in Budapest, oh, don't worry, just go to European Bitcoiners, read some articles, you'll learn, and then you're assured they will not go to some Medium website, medium.com article that says, oh, yeah, Bitcoin. And then on the side, they have Pepe, BNB coin, and Ethereum, and why Ethereum is better, and then from, oh, yes, getting orange pilled. Oh, what about Ethereum, right? Then you lose them, right? So that's would be one of the ideas. Change policy? No, we don't want to change policy. Otherwise, I think everything's explained. So it sounds like the readership is kind of like early Bitcoiners, Freecoiners. Yes, but also any type of Bitcoiner, more advanced too, because sometimes we'll have advanced topics translated. Some Bitcoiners will translate advanced topics from Robert Breedlove, or I don't know, NVK, or some more technical people like Kaye or like Kale, I think, from Kashi, right? And then, if you're a very well-versed, Czech Bitcoiner, you could still use this potentially, right? So, but you're right. We're mostly focusing on early Bitcoiners and pre-coiners. I'll say that's right.
I'm sorry for the noise on my side. My Dutch neighbors are really happy that the weather's good, so they're standing outside their houses and chatting to each other. So I'm so sorry about that. My window is closed.
No worries.
I want to second what Christoph said, because that was my intuition as well from just looking at the homepage. I felt like this is prime real estate right here, and just a little bit of an explanation of a tagline about what it's about, and what you guys are about. Like, what does this website do? Like, why am I here? This, I think, is good, but I think it's requiring maybe a little bit too much work from the user to go then click into this article and read the whole write up about the. So that was my intuition as well. This, I put a star over here as well. I noticed that European Bitcoiners was on two lines here. That makes that space there just quite large. I don't know, just a small thing. If it would be on one line, it would reduce the space taken here. But
100%.
It's a small thing. I think it's interesting, the different angles that we all view the website, because I went straight into the information architecture, and I did a little bit of research. So I took the homepage of the Bitcoin Design Guide here as an example. And I'll use the word, cognitive overload. So there's very few selection choices here for the user when they land on this homepage. They pretty much have like one, two, three, four, five, six choices essentially, and then they can go home. Um, so my idea around that was, how can we reduce the cognitive overload on the main homepage of this main homepage here? So I looked at all of the different, the categories over here, and I pretty much posted all of the categories on sticky notes. And I tried to brainstorm on how things could possibly be, how the selection choices of the users could be reduced. I started bucketing things. This is really, honestly, very. It's a little bit messy, but it's an idea to kind of reduce the number of choices that users are given when they land on this main homepage.
Mhm.
So the main categories I came up with was home, categories, um, about. About, you could have the authors who are contributing, and you could also have the partners as well.
Mhm.
You have learn, which you could put your masterclasses in there, you could put your books in there. You have login, which on the traditional, here we go, here, on this traditional kind of news website, the user would traditionally try to log in. And if they can't log in, it's pretty much going to take them to a sign up page. So they know if they click log in and they're not a user, they're going to go up to a sign up page, which will take them
Mhm.
to, subscribing as an author, or they could subscribe as a reader. So that was kind of a little bit the idea that I had here, is to reduce the number of choices on that top, to just, pretty much log in. They can sign up, they can join, they can sign in, and they can log in as an author as well.
Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, it was kind of just trying to reduce the number of choices that people have when they're on this main navigation here. Um, Very rough
Yeah.
ideas. I don't know if it makes any sense.
Yes, it does. And I'm very happy you talk about it too, because that's also one of the main things that I had in mind.
Yeah,
Um, you're so right. Like there's so much stuff there that, like, right, which one do you choose? And there's like three different types of logins, and like, and there's authors, and then author login. What's the difference? And sign up and RSS, right? It's like, oh, calm down, right? So that was also part of what I was
yeah,
hoping to do with this redesign of the website, and that's something that we will have to, how to say it, modify in the next redeploy once we modify the whole thing. First of all, home should stay 100%. About should be on the top, on the right. Then we were thinking regulations should drop, and then categories should be up there. Languages, we would take it out, and languages we would take it out because the new word, the like. Let me now explain what we have thought of so far with how to redesign the website.
yeah. Do you want to share that with us?
Yes, I think it's about time you guys have shared. Also, I think Elena has a comment. What happens when someone signs up? Do they get an email? Is there a weekly newsletter? Or we are thinking and working on creating a newsletter. We have already received some good feedback on the idea, but uh, but I'm not sure, to be honest. I think they just log into uh, the to see the articles still, and then they could get some whatever. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not gonna talk about it because I'm not sure. Anyway, so the redesign of the website is, first you would land on a page that will be super simple, that just asks you to choose a language. As I was imagining something, I don't know if you saw the Prague. Let me get the Prague. Yeah, this one. I was thinking of something like, if it loads properly, yes. Give it a minute to load properly. I just sent a link. This is the how you call it, the website that that we used for our landing uh, during BTC Prague, and I think it's very good because it's very simple. The message is very clear, um, and what I was thinking is we have that, but at the bottom. So we say, welcome to European Bitcoiners. We have the catch line that you were talking about, and then either flags or some drop down list of like choose your language, and and then the welcome to European Bitcoiners. It says welcome, willkommen, bienvenido, benvingut, bienvenut. So it keeps changing, so everyone's welcome, and it still says European Bitcoiners. And at the bottom, you can choose a language. Once you choose a language, which, by the way, thank you, Michael. The idea of choosing more than one language, I find that very European. It's something that Americans or English people would not think about, but we do. I myself speak 4 languages, so I think the idea would be, yes, to get sites with somehow we're still thinking about it, perhaps flags. Then you choose the ones, or a drop down list, or we don't know. But then the idea is you choose the languages, and then you go to a website that looks like our main, like the current one, but then it's just in your language. All the articles are in your language, or in the languages that you choose, as Michael correctly pointed out. And this way, there's no overload of, wow, why is there Greek here? Oh, this is Cyrillic. What am I reading? Espanol. Why Spanish? I want to read about Italian. So to reduce that, I was also thinking some of the design language that we use at the top does not fit with the rest of the design language that we use in the rest of the website. You will see that we have these like slanted lines for search anything, and like the things that doesn't make sense in we're not using the slanted lines anywhere else. It really jars me. I don't like it. So we will also be changing that. The European Bitcoiners double thing, I also don't know why it's like that, but in the new design we hope to change that. And many of the reasons why these things haven't been changed is because we're using Ghost, not WordPress or any other. And it's tough not only to find developers, but also to develop on Ghost. It's this problem of network effects, right? WordPress just has the network effects and Ghost doesn't. So one of the things that we're thinking with this whole redesign is, once we have redesigned the whole site on Figma, then we will explore and we will choose if to move to WordPress in a self-hosted free way, because I think it's like 3 hours of developing something in Ghost could have been done in like 20 minutes in WordPress. So it would save us a lot of time and give us more freedom and flexibility. And then if you enter one of the articles, we were thinking, and that's something, remember DevHack Day? We spoke with the UX researcher from Trezor Labs. She actually came up with the idea that when you enter, like, remember, till she said it, we didn't know, like, what is a similar website to European Bitcoiners that has many languages, is not a big UN thing, or something like that, or European Union, and it has articles. She was like, hey, Wikipedia. And I was like, of course, Wikipedia. So we're thinking of potentially using the Wikipedia style layout. People always get, at least when I talk about it, people think, oh, we're going to start using the Wikipedia consensus. No editing through Wikipedia style, whatever. No, just the Wikipedia UX and UI. That's it, for readers, not for for authors, because then you can have, and then the idea would be to have the languages on the side. This way, let's say you get into an article that has been widely translated. I don't know which one's something by Parker Lewis. I don't know. Something by Parker Lewis, let's say. Or actually, let's find one that has been very translated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like the Relay Bitcoin book, right? Then you go in, and then you will have on the left side all the languages that it has already been translated to, and that will help the potential translators to know, oh, is this article already translated in my language or not? And therefore, there's a spot that I can fill, to improve it and get another article out there. Or for readers to see, oh, like Michael said, I also speak English and German. Let's see how perhaps I understand it better in German. So that was the main idea, because now if you go down, if you enter any of our articles, you will see we have this little drop down menu, which is a bit ugly in my opinion. It works, and I'm not complaining, but it's a bit ugly. and there we have, all the languages. If you go to the top, very top of any article, very small. There you go, to the left. Perhaps if you use this, you can see the full potential. In a second. So Elena had a comment. Might be a silly thought, but it could be cute if you display country flags in an orange scale tint, and when hovered over, they are in full color. I like that. Let me add that comment of yours. Copy paste. It's in my notes now. Thanks, Elena. So if you click on the link that I sent on Jitsi, and you go to the languages drop-down menu, you'll see there's quite a few, but it's not intuitive to know. Right? It's like hidden. You have to search for it. So yeah, and also if you go to the new Wikipedia design, I think it's very clean, very easy to read. So yeah, that's the idea. New entry page, new funnel where you choose languages, then the main page, then it redirects you to your main page in your language, and then the third layer would be the articles. They would be much simpler, and they would have the languages on the side, hopefully, plus potentially also like a table of contents. We still have to decide that. So that's how we envision European Bitcoiners working in the future, like the new redeploy in like 6 to 8 months. We think it's going to take us. We're all volunteers, right? Anyway, I'll shut up. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Firstly, it's just incredible the number of languages all of the content has been translated into. That's a very big fan base or volunteer base that you guys have that are willing to put in this kind of work. So that's
We
yeah.
have like 10 to 15 very active translators, and then we have some people that just translate stuff, and we also are starting to have original content, because we are basically just a publishing platform. We have specialized in translations, but hey, we're perfectly fine for original content. So we are also starting to host some original content. But yeah, definitely big community, starting to get bigger too.
So just a few thoughts. So it was really great to hear all your explanations and everything. That made it a lot more clear for me. And I kept coming back to this line here, but learn about Bitcoin in your own language. That is very, very simple, much more so than an education and community initiative to bring together all European plebs and those who want to learn about Bitcoin. Like, learn about Bitcoin in your own language. Just that's a very nice and simple proposal that also matches what you said earlier about people in clubs partying and meeting other people and saying, hey, just go there. The other thing I was thinking about, well, what makes a European Bitcoiner? Like, what unique flavor, personality, thing, feel can this website have that no other website can have? Because this is just for European Bitcoin. Something that Elena also mentioned are flags. I know flags are not languages. They don't match one-to-one, but they do give you a nice, very simple visual that you could use potentially. So just some random thoughts here. And another random thought I had was, it feels like there are 3 buckets. One is, I'm new to this whole thing. Give me the 2 best books for me to read in my language, the top 5 articles. So just like the beginner's box. So like, I speak Espanol, I'm a beginner. There's a page for me. You do have on the homepage, you have something getting started or something like that, beginner here. But I'm wondering if that could be language specific and also pull in books, masterclass, maybe some of these other things. So I'm a user, so that's me. I'm from this country, I speak this language, I'm new to things. The second one is, well, I already know what's going on, but I just like, feed me the latest articles as they come in. So I speak Spanish and English and whatever, just give me a RSS feed or give me a page. Just, I want to read stuff now, immerse myself more deeply. Then the other one was, I'm looking for community. So that's where the you have a lot of stuff here on the events and maps. That's why I was wondering. That to me feels like a third bucket of something that I might be interested in. So I kind of maybe I'm already really savvy of it, or I just read the intro page and I know a few things. Now I want to meet some people so I can actually talk about my newfound passion or my long-term passion. And so I was wondering, I don't know, maybe it's as simple as having a bunch of flags and then you, like, what are you looking for? Get started, news, or I don't know, friends, other Europeans in my country or so. I don't know, those are just a bunch of random thoughts that I feel like I kind of picked up from the conversation and what we've been talking about.
I second this idea from Christoph because it felt to me like when I was on the homepage, like there's so many articles and so much of information that you guys have that the scroll was really, really long. So it was a really long scroll on the homepage. And I was wondering if people actually do scroll all the way down because it's like it's such a long scroll. So if you start to maybe bucket it, and I'm making notes as well, which I'll add to the GitHub issue after the call. But if you think about bucketing it into, as Christoph said, beginner, non-beginner, and looking for community, that homepage becomes a lot shorter, and it reduces the scroll on the homepage, and it also becomes a little bit more specific. It's a little bit more directional for the person landing on the homepage. You could even, from a research perspective, just do a quick prototype design of that in Figma and just show it to a couple people in the Telegram group and ask them what they think. You could show them the current website design, and then you could show them the prototype design that Christopher suggested, and then just kind of see what they think. It can literally be a 5-second test, looking at the two examples and just saying, hey, which one would you be able to make a faster decision with?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get. Like, thing is, we're all volunteers in European Bitcoiners, so I'm not sure if we can, afford to do that. But I guess that's the wrong way of framing it, right? Rather spend a few hours with some people, talking to them to get the design right, and then deploy something good, than being here in 2 years and saying, "Shit, we gotta redesign this again." So I guess it's something worth doing. Okay.
And you also have to consider that you are very deep into this project. We're not. We're kind of giving you off the cuff feedback here, so you can read between the lines and just ditch anything we're saying because your experience with your actual users is very different or so. So you're the master.
And also, you guys, because it's
You're the general.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I appreciate Christoph. Also, I have to share this information with the rest of the proof of work plebs. That's how we call ourselves, the people doing proof of work at European Bitcoiners, and then amongst all ourselves, we choose what to do and not. But thank you, I appreciate it. Mo, you wanted to say?
No, I think we also appreciate that there's a small team of you guys who work on this project. So making any changes to the website is quite a big, it's a time commitment. So I think for you guys to really think about, is if you have someone who's a little bit handy in Figma, to kind of get them to just do a quick mock-up of that homepage, different homepage idea, and show it to a few people before you actually develop it on the development side. It might save you guys a lot of time and energy instead of, running everything through development and then realizing, well, that's not really the best solution anyway.
Yeah, that was what we're going to do. Oh, she's leaving. It's an initiative. We have to jump to another call, but okay, see you, Elena, although she's gone. That's basically what we're trying to do. None of us are really, how did you say it, like, well versed in Figma, but I can defend myself with Photoshop and PowerPoint very well, and also Illustrator. So I was like, Figma shouldn't be too hard, right? I'll figure it out soon, and then I can start playing with that. I've also pushed all of the rest of us to not just start developing, because that was the first idea, right? Just start deploying, changing stuff on the code itself. I was like, guys, relax, right? This is not just let's add another feature. This is a full redesign of the website. Let's do it step by step, right? So yeah, we're gonna try to get a Figma up and running with some ideas and redesigning. Yeah. So I appreciate it. It's good to hear that my idea is validated from someone who actually does this thing for a living. Makes me more comfortable in the things that I have said so far.
Yeah, it's a cool project. And these types of sites are fun to design too. Media, news.
Yeah, I just in parallel I started redesigning the header with
There you go.
with an idea that I just had. I'm gonna open source that
Show us,
tomorrow.
Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, show us.
Well,
Let's see.
it's hang on, where's the start screen sharing thing? Okay. Where's Figma? Why don't I see Figma?
While
The
you're looking
window.
that up, we could schedule just a for fun 1 hour jam session where we all work in a shared Figma file and just throw out ideas.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I'm 100% down for that. I really like that idea. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to help to try to, there's so many good ideas. I have 3 pages of notes here that we've all been commenting on and suggestions and all that kind of thing. So, as a practical thing after the call, or tomorrow, I'll update it on GitHub, all of these ideas. And then we can even use those ideas and then take Christoph's idea and then go from ideas to jamming in Figma together.
Okay, and I'll also try to set up like our vision, what I explained to you guys. I'll try to make it easier. I may potentially just jump on PowerPoint, do it there real quick because I know how PowerPoint works, and this way I don't have to fight with Figma yet. I don't want to fight with Figma yet. So I'll do it on PowerPoint really quick, the 3 images of how it should look like, pam, 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 and then we can start fighting with Figma to recreate it there, and then we can add your ideas. Honestly, there's much in there that is open to improvement in this 3-step, right? Funnel, homepage in your language, and then article redesign. That's how I'm thinking about it, by the way. There's a 3-stage thing, 1, 2, 3. Perhaps we need a 4th one for just categories or like choosing different languages too. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out.
And then as the next step, we can take those ideas that we jam on Figma, grab a couple people from the Telegram group, show it to them, and ask them what they think. And then if it's good to actually move into any sort of development stuff. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Keep it simple.
Okay, so when are we thinking of the next call, jam? How do we want to call it?
Well, first, Michael, did you find your Figma?
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Okay, so just one idea that could be something, and I hope it's visible enough, is instead of kind of having all these categories, you could have somewhere, and I don't know where, I didn't have too much time, but you could actually say have kind of this navigation or the thing that I'm looking at through the entire site be persistent and say, okay, now I'm reading articles in German, English, and French in these categories. Obviously, it could also, by default, it would be all for all of these things, right? And then when you kind of scroll around the site,
Stays at the top.
it would be at the top, and but yeah, it really needs a lot more thought because once you're on the level of a specific article or a book or whatever, I mean, you still want to get you still want to get to the books even if you selected articles here, right? So this is kind of a
I do like it though, because it's like a unified language. I can see it being on every side, it also helps with. I think it was Christoph who was saying it, or perhaps it was you, Michael. That yeah, no, it was you, Michael, who said that when you're in an article, you're like lost on where you are, right? But if you have this at the top, it could say like you're reading translate. So once you click on something, it changes automatically to what you have. So it says something like reading translation in French category and the categories that it has, something like that. And then you also
Yeah.
have the title at the top. I don't know. And then once you
Good.
get out, you get back to your previous settings.
Some kind of contextual navigation. Obviously, if you're in on an article, this would probably be kind of the breadcrumbs at the top, and you could go back to the main category of that. But as I said, I mean, it's that's something shooting very much from the hip. So it's
I think you hit something. So I like it.
Maybe the language picker can be just the word European in the logo. You just click that, and then it changes. It becomes German Bitcoiners or Polish Bitcoiners, or I don't know.
There's so much of
Yes.
fun. There's so many fun personalization ideas you could do with this. I think Christoph will be a good one to bring those forward, and that be fun to ideate on in the design session. I think there's a lot of fun stuff you could do to kind of make people be like, I'm reading in my own language, like I'm German, I'm reading in German.
Yeah,
Yay.
that's a sense of community you
Yeah,
want to achieve, right? There's a group of people who care about this language and helping educate each other, somehow creating that feeling.
Yeah.
And I
like
think
that.
Michael's thing is also a very good one. I like that. It's more helpful than always having hash rate and RSS and authors and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
I actually find that I don't even know why we have the hash rate on there, to be honest. It's also not in the correct format, so
it's what I found when I was looking at that. I mean, it's extremely dominant from a visual perspective. That thing. I mean, I would probably reduce it visually.
yeah. Yeah, the color pops out a lot, and it's not exactly what you want people to be concentrating on. You don't go to European Bitcoiners to know the hash rate and the block height. You go there to learn about Bitcoin in your own language, right? So yeah, I 100% agree with that.
To be fair, on mobile you're hiding it. So
Oh, I mean, I didn't check
Small
out
wins.
actually. This was such a cool session. I really liked it that I think, Christoph looks at websites from a different perspective, and Michael looks at a different perspective, and I look at a different perspective. And it was really interesting to see us comment from these three different perspectives on the user experience.
Before we leave, because I feel like we should create now the Figma. That is where we're going to put all the ideas, because this way on the next call, it's not like, oh, I have my own Figma. Oh, I have my own Figma. Oh, I created my own Figma.
Yeah.
So how do you guys do it? Because I'm not too...
Maybe Michael is willing to just open up his. You can just create a link, and then with edit rights, and then everyone can just do whatever they want in there. Just
Okay.
maybe don't share it on Twitter or somewhere people might do stuff.
This call is just being recorded, right?
Yes.
It's all right.
yeah.
This is going to be on Bitcoin Design YouTube and Bitcoin Design, so we're all good.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop the link in Discord probably.
Yeah. Sounds
Right.
good.
So, and I need to remember to open these Figma files in the drafts, or what is it? Yeah, drafts. Because I have my own team that I pay for myself, because I want to use kind of color styles and design systems. And yeah, and then then I shared it with Christoph and Mo, and Figma wants to bill me for them.
40 euros per month or something for us taking a file for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Um,
Cool. I'll do that.
General,
By the way,
with regards to
yeah.
setting up the next call, is it okay with you if I just, we'll just coordinate between the four of us? Like, I'll just ask you, like, hey, are there some good times? And then I'll shoot those times over to Christoph and Michael. They'll say if they're available, and then we can just set something up in the community.
But we can still make it completely public and open to everyone.
Yeah.
I would actually say let's have the conversation over at... Didn't we open like a thread or something? Or is it in the UX thread? I swear to God, there was like a European
we introduced the
corners.
project in general a while back. I feel like
Otherwise, since seems like it's going to become a thing, like proper thing, perhaps under collaborations we could open there like a thread or like something where it's like European Bitcoiners, and we can start collaborating there, adding all the links there, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky with these channels because sometimes we create them and then nothing happens in them, and it's better to just keep it in general. Like sometimes it's better to just only create private space or like separate spaces to discuss once it's really bothering everyone else. Once it's like, okay, we need a room, right?
It's like get a room, guys, get a room.
Yeah.
And otherwise keep it more visible.
Sounds cool. In that case, I'm fine with Mo, you organizing it or like you coordinating us, so to speak. And yeah, I'm happy with whatever. I'm also very happy with this call. It went much better than what I expected, to be honest. I really liked it. And
Cool. Nice.
Let's have another one. And yeah, I need to get going on like Figma. See, and yes, sorry, before I go, I've heard that there's an open source Figma.
Penpot.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Are we going to use that? Do we use that? Do we not use that? You guys know better, I imagine. What is your call? I'm interested.
So they actually also have a design conference this week.
It's in Barcelona. Yeah, that's how I know.
Yeah. So I haven't checked it in a month or two. So I'm a huge fan. I have came across them 2 years ago, so for the first time. And they keep getting better and better and better, but I regularly give them a try. Whenever I try it, my productivity goes down by at least 50%. And that's a bit tough for me. Maybe it's fine for something exploratory or so, but for full-on projects, for me personally, it's not quite there yet. Others may feel differently, but I wish, I hope, and they move fast. They're a great team. So.
Yeah, same. It's the same for me. I'm slightly less experienced than Christoph and Michael, but I just have a little bit more experience with Figma, but I also I would love to start jumping on and using Penpot a bit more often. But in terms of next steps, I'll just, message everyone. We set up another call, we jam in Figma, we make that design session open to the community.
Yeah.
And yeah, just keep on having fun.
I love that.
Cool. I have another call now.
All right.
Me too.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Stop the recording before hopping out.
Bye. Yes.
Bye.